Good morning. We will begin our service with the ringing of the temple bell. At this time, please silence your cell phones and listen quietly as the sounding of the conch shell is an invitation to settle our hearts and minds as we prepare to receive the Dharma. Thank you.
Namandavs, 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 namandavs.
Aloha, everyone. Thank you for joining us this morning. I'm Kenja Nishihara, and I will serve as your MC this morning. Minister's Assistant, Miss Linda Nagai, will be officiating today's service. Assisting at the temple with technical support is the Zoom crew of Joey Guzman and Darren and Lynn Katayama. Corinne Chong is our organist, and Betty Takioka will lead the singing. Please rise and let us start the service with a bandana and tisarana. Please chant both the Pali and English parts together with Miss Linda.
Namo tassa bhagavato Namandabs, 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 nam.
Please remain standing. Miss Lindsay will now share an aspiration.
Let us put our hands together in Gasho. Quiet our minds and open our hearts to the Dharma. As we begin our service this morning, let us take a moment to reflect on the countless expressions of love and kindness that have brought us to this day. From the care of our families and friends, to the support of our Sangha, and to the boundless compassion of Amida Buddha, our lives are sustained by immeasurable causes and conditions. Shinran Shonin taught that we are ordinary beings filled with limitations and blind passions, yet embraced by Amida's compassion just as we are. As we listen to the Dharma today, may our hearts become more aware of the kindness we have received, and may the awareness naturally give rise to gratitude, understanding, and compassion for others. May we awaken to the love and kindness that surround us, and in gratitude, share that kindness with others. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namandavs, namandavs, namandavs.
Please be seated. It is now time for the offering of incense. We invite all Sangha members in attendance to please come up and offer incense if you wish, starting with the front rows and moving towards the back. Please use both incense burners. Let us observe a moment of silent meditation.
Namandavs, 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 namandavs.
Miss Linza will now lead us in chanting the Sutra 12 Homages or English Junarat. Words can be found on the laminated handouts and on the back of the pews and on the screen.
The Junirai, or 12 Homages, was composed by Nagarjuna, the first of the 7 masters of Jodo Shinshu. Nagarjuna celebrates the beauty, grandeur, and preciousness of the Pure Land, which manifests the virtues of Amida Buddha and expresses the desire to be born in the realm of enlightenment. The phrase Koga Chorai Mida Son, or Thus I Bow to Amida, is repeated 10 times and has the same meaning as Namo Amida Butsu. This expression of dedication powerfully reminds us of our commitment to the Buddha and the land of peace, where everyone attains the highest fulfillment of Buddhahood. 12 homages. Gods and men all bow in awe to Amida the revered, in Buddha's wondrous pure land. Bodhisattvas gather round, golden form like the mountain king, steadfast like the elephant's pace, Buddha's eyes like the blue lotus. Thus I bow to Amida. Buddha's form round like the moon, bright like 1,000 suns and moons. Buddha's voice like the nightingale. Thus I bow to Amida. Buddha's figure on Kanon's crown, adorned with wondrous features. Buddha subdues evilness. Thus I bow to Amida. Beyond compare, Amida's pure virtue shining clear like space. All benefit from Buddha. Thus I bow to Amida. Bodhisattvas all renowned, Maras to praise Amida. Primal vow made for our sake. Thus I bow to Amida. Golden ponds where lotus bloom, towers a throne of goodness. Buddha lives like the mountain king. Thus I bow to Amida. Bodhisattvas come afar, attaining true happiness. They revere the Buddha's face. Thus I bow to Amida. All life changes like the dew. We have no permanent self. Buddha that teaches this law to all. Bow to Amida, no evil in the Pure Land, and no evil paths. Faithful hearts honor Buddha. Thus I bow to Amida, saving us through many ways. No tempters, no evil friends. Birth leads to enlightenment. Thus I bow to Amida. Amida, thus I have praised virtues boundless like the sea. These virtues shared with others for birth into the Pure Land. Namandabu, 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 Namandabu. The virtue of Amida's vow is shared equally by all, together attaining awakened mind. We are born in the land of peace. Namandavs, 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 namandavs.
Please rise for the Gatha at our altar. Words can be found on pages 22 and 23 in the Purple Gatha book and on the screen. Again, pages 22 and 23 in the Purple Gatha book.
Each morning I awake to see Amida's face, so good and kind. I think he says, "Good morning, child." He's glad to start the day with me. Each night before I go to bed, I sit before our altar bright, with pretty flowers, candlelight, and incense curling round my head. I bow
You may be seated. Today's Dharma message will be shared by Miss Linda.
Namandavs, 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 namandavs. Good morning. Now let's put our hands together in Gassho. Shinran writes in the Tanisho that compassion in the Pure Land path is realizing the Buddha's benevolence and with the wish to return it, benefiting sentient beings. As we reflect on love and kindness today, may we remember that none of us lives alone. Our lives are sustained by the care of countless people, by the boundless compassion of Amida Buddha. When we become aware of all that we have received, gratitude naturally arises. And while we can never truly repay the kindness that has been given to us, we can share that kindness with others. May our gratitude awaken within us to desire to offer a kind word, a helping hand, or a caring heart, so that compassion may continue from one person to another, just as a baton is passed from one hand to another. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namandavs, namandavs. Good morning again. This morning, I would like to reflect on the baton. You heard me say baton, the baton of life, and you'll hear why I came up with that title. I didn't come up with the title; it was there. When we hear the word baton, we may think of a relay race, where one runner passes a baton to the next. In many ways, our lives are like that as well. We receive so much from countless people before us. Our parents, our grandparents, our teachers, our friends, and even strangers whose kindness may have touched our lives in ways they have never fully realized. And perhaps, without always noticing it, we always pass something forward to others through the way we live, the way we speak, and the way we treat one another. Sometimes we may think that only grand actions make a difference in the world, but often it's the smallest act of kindness, a smile, a listening ear, a simple gesture of care that remain with us the longest. Recently, I came across a children's story entitled Ordinary Mary's Extraordinary Deed by Emily Pearson. The story begins with a little girl named Mary, who was just Mary. Hi, Mary. We have a Mary here. And ordinary girl who would never guess could change the world. One day, Mary picked some ordinary blueberries and brought them in a big brown bowl to Mrs. Bishop next door. Mrs. Bishop was so happy that she baked a big batch of blueberry muffins and secretly shared plates of muffins with 5 different people. One of those 5 people was her paper boy, Billy Parker. When Billy saw the plate waiting for him, he quickly parked his bike and happily ate every single crumb. Yum, he said. He thought and he enjoyed every crumb, every bite. Billy was so touched by the kindness that the next day, instead of tossing newspaper carelessly into the bushes, as he sometimes did, actually most times did, he carefully delivered them to people's porches and sometimes even handed it to them. One of those people was Mrs. Morey, who later smiled throughout her 10-hour airplane flight and offered kindness to help 5 others. And so the kindness continued to spread from one person to another. One act of kindness touched another life, and then another, and then another. Kindness was also shared with Louise, a homeless woman, when someone bought her a hot dog and a drink. Louise could hardly believe that someone cared enough to help her. Even though she had very little herself, she decided she also wanted to do something kind for someone else. Later, Louise found a wallet, found it belonged to a woman named Amara, and returned it to her. Because of Louise's honesty, Amara offered her a job and then decided to do something generous for 5 more people. One of those people was a woman named Kate, who was visiting from out of town and hoped to see a show that was sold out. Amara gave Kate her ticket, saying that she could see that show another time because she lived nearby. Kate was so touched by Amara's kindness that when she returned home, she bought gifts for 5 people she cared about. One of those gifts was a small heart necklace for her niece, Mary. And so, Ordinary Mary's extraordinary deed came full circle. What began with a simple bowl of berries eventually touched countless lives. As I read the story, it reminded me of how we often underestimate the impact of small acts of kindness within our daily lives. A little smile, a kind word, a moment of patience, simply listening. Even simple gestures of aloha or a shaka sign. What may seem small to us may mean a great deal to someone else. In many ways, kindness itself becomes like a baton that is passed from one person to another. Mary's story also reminded me of something I saw while I was visiting Tokyo, and I went to the Mitsuo Aida Museum. Mitsuo Aida was a Japanese poet and a calligrapher whose writings reflected deeply on ordinary human life, relationships, gratitude, and connection. His words were simple, yet carried profound meaning. Have you been there? No? You have to go. Jim? No? You have to go. Very interesting. One particular piece that remained with me until this day, and I had to go look for it because it just, and I didn't have to look far, but I went into the internet, and later on I found it in the Tani show. No, I'm sorry, in Dr. Uno's book. One particular piece that remained was a reflection entitled Inochi no Baton, okay, which is the baton of life, which I just did. I will read the English translation, and you'll see both translations on there, I think. You see the Japanese on one side, so those that can read Japanese can. Father and mother making 2, the parents of father and mother making 4, the parents of those parents making 8. If we count it in this way, going back 10 generations, it's 1,024 people. Going back 20 generations, how many people? To my surprise, it exceeds 1 million people. Having received the baton of life from an infinite past, right here, right now, I'm living my turn. This is your life. This is my life. And that's what the Japanese says. And I think those that can read it can. Sometimes the English translation doesn't come out that good. Mitsuo Aida reflects on how each of us has received the baton of life through countless generations before us. Our parents, our grandparents, our great-grandparents, and going back farther, even as far back as we can imagine. And now here we are, living our part of that relay. Mitsuoide's reflection also reminded me of what Dr. Taitetsu Uno describes in his book, River of Fire, River of Water, that's where I saw the translated quote, where he reflects on the interconnected life and gratitude within Shin Buddhism. Shin Buddhism, we are reminded that our lives do not exist independently or separately. Our lives are deeply interconnected with countless causes and conditions and people. We receive so much from others every single day, often in ways we can never fully recognize. And perhaps kindness itself is also a part of this baton we receive and pass forward. Just as Mary's kindness spread from one person to another, our own words and actions may continue far beyond what we can see. A small act of kindness encourage another person, just like when we're driving, letting that other person in Honolulu come into your lane, or even here, letting that person come onto the road from the side street. That person may then encourage someone else. And in this way, compassion continues to move quietly through the world. Sometimes we may think we need to do something extraordinary to make a difference, but perhaps the Dharma reminds us that even ordinary kindness matters. A smile matters. Listening matters. Compassion matters. A simple act of aloha matters. We may not be able to bring peace in the whole world by ourselves, but we can bring a little more kindness into the corner of the world that has been entrusted to us. A kind word, a helping hand, a smile, or simply taking the time to care for another person. May seem small, but like Mary's berries, those acts of kindness can travel farther than we can imagine. And perhaps each of us in our own ways carries that baton forward. This morning, I would like to close with sharing a simple song entitled Love and Kindness. The song was written by Roy and Kathy Sakuma and was recently shared with me. I'll do my best to play it as it was intended, and Roy, forgive me if I miss a step or two. The song reminds us that kindness does not need to be complicated. Even the smallest gesture can brighten another person's day and continue the chain of kindness that connects us all. I'll first play the song, and then I'll invite all of you to join in singing it together with us. And don't worry, because Betty's standing by. She'll lead us. She'll lead us in the singing. Do you have the words? It's on the screen, but you might not be able to see the screen. And if arthritis fingers work today, it'd be good. Okay, I want to hear everybody sing, because otherwise I got to keep playing this, because you know Betty, right? You don't sing it right, you sing it again.
You're gonna strum it first, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
love and kindness be your guide. In all the things you say and do. And when you go about your day, there's a lot that you can do. You can give a friendly smile. You can give a gentle hug. You can give a shock aside. It's quite simple to be kind.
One more time.
Let love and kindness be your guide in all the things you do and say. And when you go about your day, there's a lot that you can do. You can give a friendly smile. You can give a gentle hug. You can give a shock aside. It's quite simple to be kind.
Okay. Good job.
Good job. Good job. That was good. Okay, let's put our hands together and close with the Nimbutsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namandabs, namandabs, namandabs. Thank you.
Thank you for your Dharma message, Miss Linda. My sister Taylor Nishihara will now lead us in unison reading of the Golden Chain of Love. Words can be found on the laminated handouts in the back of the pews and on the screen. Please recite the passage together with her. I am a link in Amida Buddha's golden chain of love that stretches around the world. I must keep my link bright and strong. I will try to be kind and gentle to every living thing and protect all who are weaker than myself. I will try to think pure and beautiful thoughts, to say pure and beautiful words, and to do pure and beautiful deeds, knowing that on what I do now depends not only on my happiness or unhappiness, but also that of others. May every link in Amida's golden chain of love be bright and strong, and may we all attain perfect peace. Namo Amida Butsu.
Namandabs, namandabs, nam.
Thank you, Taylor. We will now have the offertory presentation. Mahalo for your generosity, everyone. Please rise as we will conclude this service with the singing of the Gata Nembutsu.
Namandabs, 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 namandabs.
You may be seated. This concludes today's service. Here are some announcements, upcoming schedule of services and events. Important. This Saturday, June 13th, the 2026 Obon Fest will be held at Maka'eo Pavilion at Old Airport. This event is a kickoff to the Obon season. For the first time this year, the County of Hawaii Department of Parks and Recreation is partnering with Kono Hongwanji and Daifukuji Soto Mission in sponsoring this community event. There will be lots of craft booths, trucks, and cultural activities. Craft vendors will open at 4 p.m. At 5 p.m., the program begins with a short service, followed by fun bone dancing until 9 p.m. Volunteers are needed with the comfort crew to manage restocking bathroom supplies. Take care of the trash and recycling. Manpowers also need to set up and break down. Donations of drinks and well as money donations, which will be greatly appreciated. Although the initial deadline has already passed, please refer to Reverend Blaine's weekly email in the GHO for information on shifts and other details. In preparation for Obon Fest, bone dance practices will be held tomorrow, Monday, June 8th, and Thursday, June 11th at 7:30 p.m. in the social hall. There will be no service next Sunday, June 14th, so that we can all recover from the Obon Fest action the day before. Sunday, June 21st, Father's Day service will be held at 10 a.m. Guest speaker will be David Oshiro, former president of the Kamuela Hongwanji's mission. Sunday, June 28th, regular Dharma family service will be held at 10 a.m. Reverend Blaine will share a Dharma message. Any other announcements, Miss Linda or anyone else? Those of you on Zoom may leave at any time. Those of you here in person, refreshments will be served in the conference room. Thank you to my grandma Myrna Kunihiro and Auntie Betty for providing today's refreshments, and to anyone else who also brought goodies to share. Mahalo to Auntie Betty for preparing today's ultra rice bowls. Your attendance today is very much appreciated. Please stay safe, and we hope to see you at this Saturday's Obon Fest again. Please kokoa in any way you can to enjoy this event. Mahalo.